There are some things in life that we just do without thinking. We brush our teeth, we lock the front door, we turn off the lights, and we climb into bed. But what if I told you that one of the things you do every single night, something you probably consider completely harmless, could actually be putting your life at risk? Now, I know that sounds dramatic, and I understand if you're skeptical, but doctors across the country are sounding the alarm, and they want you to hear this before it's too late. Every year, thousands of people go to sleep and never wake up. Their families are left devastated, searching for answers. And while some of these cases involve obvious medical conditions, a growing number of them are being linked to one common nighttime habit that millions of people share. It's something so ordinary, so deeply woven into our nightly routines that most of us would never even think to question it. I'm talking about taking certain medications right before bed without fully understanding how they interact with your body while you sleep. Now, before you say you already know about your medications, let me explain why this is different and why doctors are more concerned now than ever before. As we get older, our bodies change. That's no surprise to anyone who has lived long enough to feel it in their joints, their back, or their energy levels. But the changes happening inside our bodies, the ones we can't see or feel, those are the ones that catch us off guard. Our liver doesn't process medications the way it used to. Our kidneys slow down. Our heart rhythm can shift in subtle ways that go completely unnoticed during the day, but become genuinely dangerous when we lie down to rest. The metabolism of someone in their 60s or 70s is vastly different from what it was in their 30s, and yet many medication schedules are designed as if nothing has changed. Here's what happens. When you fall asleep, your body enters a different mode. Your heart rate drops, your blood pressure lowers, your breathing slows down. All of this is completely normal and healthy. But when you add certain medications into that equation, things can go wrong very quickly. Blood pressure pills taken too close to bedtime can cause your pressure to drop dangerously low while you sleep. Pain medications, especially the stronger ones, can slow your breathing to a point where your body simply doesn't get enough oxygen. And sleep aids, those little pills that promise a peaceful night's rest, they can suppress your central nervous system so much that your body forgets to breathe altogether. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I am not telling you to stop taking your medications. That would be irresponsible, and that's not what doctors are saying either. What they are saying is that the timing of when you take your medications matters enormously, and most people have never had a real conversation with their doctor about it. It's not about eliminating medications. It's about using them wisely at the right time in the right way so they help you instead of putting you in harm's way. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time your doctor sat down with you and specifically discussed what time of day you should take each of your pills? For most people, the answer is never. You get a prescription, the label says take once daily, and you figure bedtime is as good a time as any. Maybe you chose bedtime because it's easier to remember, or because you already have a routine of setting out your pills on the nightstand. But that simple assumption, that innocent habit of convenience, could be the difference between waking up refreshed and not waking up at all. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a cardiologist who has spent over 20 years studying nighttime cardiac events, recently spoke about this issue at a medical conference that made headlines across the country. She said something that stopped everyone in the room. She said that in her experience, a significant number of the sudden nighttime deaths she has investigated could have been prevented with a simple change in medication timing. Not a change in dosage, not a new prescription, not an expensive procedure. Just a shift in when the medication was taken. Morning instead of night. That's all it would have taken to keep some of these people alive. Let me give you a real example. Blood pressure medication. Millions of seniors take it, and for good reason. High blood pressure is a serious condition that needs to be managed. But here's what many people don't know. There are certain types of blood pressure medication that work best when taken in the morning, and there are others that are more effective at night. The problem is that when you take a morning-type medication at night, it can cause your blood pressure to plummet while you sleep. And when blood pressure drops too low during sleep, the heart doesn't get enough blood flow, the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, and in the worst cases, the person simply doesn't wake up. They drift from sleep into something far more permanent, and their loved ones find them in the morning thinking they're still resting peacefully. It's not just blood pressure medication. Let's talk about something that affects almost every senior at some point in their life: pain. Chronic pain is exhausting, and the desire to take something before bed so you can actually sleep through the night is completely understandable. Nobody wants to lie awake staring at the ceiling because their back or their knees won't stop aching. But certain pain medications, particularly opioid-based ones, come with a risk that multiplies when your body is in its sleep state. These medications work by depressing the central nervous system, which is how they reduce pain. But that same mechanism also slows your breathing. During the day, when you're up and moving and alert, your body compensates naturally. But at night, when everything is already slowed down, when your brain is in rest mode and your reflexes are diminished, that additional suppression can push your respiratory system past the point of recovery. Your body simply stops getting enough air, and the oxygen levels in your blood drop to dangerous levels without you ever being aware of it. And here's the thing that really worries doctors: it's not always the strong medications that cause problems. Over-the-counter sleep aids, antihistamines that make you drowsy, even certain herbal supplements that promise relaxation, all of these can interact with prescription medications in ways that nobody anticipated. You might take your regular blood pressure pill, then pop an over-the-counter sleep aid because you're having trouble drifting off, and that combination creates a dangerous cocktail that your aging body simply cannot handle while it's in its most vulnerable state. Each pill by itself seems perfectly safe, but together in the quiet stillness of night when your body is running at its lowest power, they become something entirely different. Now let's talk about another nighttime habit that doctors are increasingly concerned about, and this one might surprise you. It's eating a heavy meal late at night and then going straight to bed. For years, we've heard that eating late isn't great for your waistline, but the health risks go far beyond weight gain, especially for older adults. This is something that affects millions of people, and most of them have no idea how dangerous it can be. When you eat a large meal and then lie down, your body has to work overtime to digest that food. Your heart rate increases to support digestion at the exact time it should be slowing down for rest. Blood gets diverted to your stomach and intestines when it should be circulating freely to your heart and brain. Your stomach produces excess acid, which can cause reflux that, in severe cases, leads to aspiration, where stomach contents are actually inhaled into the lungs. For someone with existing heart conditions or respiratory issues, this combination can trigger a cardiac event or a respiratory crisis in the middle of the night. Dr. James Patterson, a sleep medicine specialist at one of the nation's leading hospitals, explains it this way. He says your body is like a factory that has a day shift and a night shift. The night shift is supposed to handle maintenance, repair, and restoration. That's when your cells regenerate, your immune system recharges, and your brain processes the experiences of the day. But when you eat a heavy meal right before bed, you're essentially asking the night shift to run full production while also handling all the maintenance. Something has to give, and when it does, the consequences can be severe. Your heart gets overworked, your lungs get compromised, and the very systems that are supposed to be protecting you while you sleep are too busy dealing with that plate of pasta to do their job. But there's another piece to this puzzle that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and it has to do with sleep position. Most people don't think twice about how they lie in bed. You get comfortable, you close your eyes, and you fall asleep in whatever position feels natural. But for seniors, especially those who take medications or have underlying health conditions, sleep position can be a matter of life and death. It sounds like an exaggeration, but the research supports it. Sleeping flat on your back, for instance, can worsen sleep apnea, a condition where you stop breathing repeatedly throughout the night. Sleep apnea is far more common in older adults than most people realize, and a staggering number of cases go completely undiagnosed. You might snore louder than you used to. You might feel tired during the day, no matter how many hours you spent in bed. You might wake up with a headache or a dry mouth, and you might assume that's just part of getting older, just another inconvenience that comes with the territory. But untreated sleep apnea, combined with the wrong medications taken at the wrong time, creates a perfect storm of risk factors that doctors see all too often in their emergency rooms and, tragically, in their autopsy reports. There's also the issue of alcohol. Many people enjoy a glass of wine or a small drink in the evening to help them relax and unwind after a long day. And while moderate alcohol consumption is a personal choice, combining alcohol with nighttime medications is something that doctors say is far more common and far more dangerous than people realize. Alcohol is a depressant, just like many sleep aids and pain medications. When you combine depressants, their effects don't just add up, they multiply. A glass of wine that would barely affect you during the day can become a serious risk factor when combined with your evening medications and the natural slowing of your body during sleep. Your breathing slows further, your reflexes diminish even more, and your body's ability to respond to a crisis drops to almost nothing. So, what can you do? What are the practical steps that could actually save your life or the life of someone you love? Well, I'm glad you're still listening because this is the most important part of everything I've shared with you today. First, and I cannot stress this enough, have a conversation with your doctor specifically about the timing of your medications. Don't just ask if you should take them with food or on an empty stomach. Ask specifically whether each medication is best taken in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night. Ask why. Ask what happens if you take it at the wrong time. And ask your pharmacist too. Pharmacists are incredibly knowledgeable about drug timing and interactions, and they often have insights that even your doctor might not mention during a busy appointment. Second, make a complete list of everything you take. And I mean everything. Your prescription medications, your over-the-counter pills, your vitamins, your herbal supplements, your occasional sleep aids, everything. Even the things you take only once in a while. Bring that list to your doctor and ask them to review it for potential nighttime interactions. You might be surprised to learn that the combination of things you're taking could be creating risks that no single medication would cause on its own. Third, stop eating heavy meals within 3 hours of bedtime. I know that's easier said than done, especially if dinner has always been your biggest meal of the day, or if you enjoy a late evening snack while watching television. But your body needs time to digest before you lie down, and giving it that time can significantly reduce your risk of nighttime cardiac events, acid reflux, and aspiration. If you do get hungry before bed, keep it light. A small piece of fruit, a few crackers, maybe a cup of herbal tea. Something that won't send your digestive system into overdrive. Fourth, pay attention to your sleep position. If you snore, if your partner tells you that you stop breathing during the night, if you wake up gasping, if you feel exhausted no matter how much sleep you get, talk to your doctor about being evaluated for sleep apnea. There are simple, effective treatments available that can dramatically reduce your risk and improve the quality of your sleep beyond what you thought possible. And in the meantime, try sleeping on your side rather than your back. Some people find that placing a pillow behind them helps prevent them from rolling onto their back during the night. It's a small change that can make a surprisingly big difference. Fifth, and this is something that many people overlook, keep a glass of water by your bed and stay hydrated throughout the evening. Dehydration during the night can thicken your blood, making it harder for your heart to pump and increasing the risk of blood clots, stroke, and heart attack. A few sips of water if you wake up during the night can help keep your blood flowing smoothly and reduce strain on your cardiovascular system. You don't need to drink so much that you're up every hour using the bathroom. Just enough to keep yourself from getting dehydrated. Sixth, be honest with your doctor about any alcohol you consume in the evening. There's no judgment here. This isn't about being told what you can and can't enjoy. This is about your safety. Even small amounts of alcohol can interact with medications in ways you wouldn't expect, and your doctor needs to know the full picture to keep you safe. They might suggest adjusting the timing of a medication, or they might recommend skipping your evening drink on days when you take certain pills. Either way, having that honest conversation could prevent a nighttime emergency. Now, I want to share something with you that a retired nurse named Margaret told me, because I think it perfectly captures why this message is so important. Margaret spent 35 years working in hospitals, and she said that the saddest cases she ever saw were the ones that could have been prevented with simple information. People who died in their sleep not because they were terribly sick, not because their time had come, but because nobody ever told them that the timing of their medication mattered, or that their combination of pills and supplements was dangerous, or that their nighttime routine was slowly, quietly creating the conditions for a tragedy that everyone would later call unexpected. Margaret herself had a wake-up call when she retired and started taking blood pressure medication. She took it at bedtime, just like she thought she was supposed to. She had been a nurse for 3 decades, and even she didn't question it. One morning, her husband couldn't wake her. She was breathing, but barely. Her skin was pale, and she was completely unresponsive. He shook her, he called her name, and when she didn't respond, his heart nearly stopped from fear. He called an ambulance, and the doctors at the hospital told her that her blood pressure had dropped so low during the night that she had nearly slipped away. The solution was almost laughably simple. Her doctor moved her medication to the morning. That's it. That one change, taking the same pill at a different hour of the day, potentially saved her life. She takes that same medication to this day, just at 8 in the morning instead of 10 at night. Stories like Margaret's are more common than you'd think, and that's exactly why doctors are speaking up now. They're seeing too many patients come in after nighttime emergencies that didn't need to happen. They're losing too many patients who went to bed feeling perfectly fine and never saw the morning sun. And in most of these cases, the cause wasn't some mysterious disease or unavoidable condition. It was a preventable combination of habits and medications that nobody thought to question until it was too late. So tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to do something for me. I want you to look at the bottles on your nightstand. I want you to read the labels carefully. I want you to think about what time you're taking each one and ask yourself a simple but crucial question. Has my doctor specifically told me to take this at bedtime? Or am I just taking it now because it's convenient? Because that's what I've always done? Because I never thought to ask? And if you're not sure, if there's even a shadow of doubt in your mind, please make that phone call tomorrow morning. Call your doctor's office, call your pharmacist, ask the question. It's not a silly question. It's not a waste of their time. It could be the most important phone call you ever make. Because the answer might just save your life. You've lived a long time. You've worked hard, you've raised families, you've overcome challenges that would have stopped most people in their tracks. You've earned every single night of peaceful, restful sleep, and you deserve to wake up every morning feeling safe and well, and ready for whatever the day brings. Don't let a simple, fixable nighttime habit rob you of that. The information is out there. The doctors are ready to help. All you have to do is ask. And if you found this information valuable, please share it with someone you love. Share it with your spouse, your siblings, your friends at church, or at the community center, your neighbors down the street, because the person whose life you save might be someone sitting right next to you at the dinner table tonight. We look out for each other. That's what our generation does. That's what community means. And right now, looking out for each other means making sure everyone knows that what we do before we close our eyes at night matters more than we ever realized. Sleep well tonight, my friends, but sleep smart, because your life, your beautiful, hard-earned, precious life, depends on it.